with me. Wanna see what you see. Wanna hear from your heart. We're in this thing together. Together we'll be stronger than we ever could dream. We're in this thing together. Together we're whole, never alone. Together we'll stand, take my hand. We're in this thing together. We're in this thing together. Do you look to the sky? We are here. We're in this thing together. Together we're whole, never alone. Together we'll stand, take my hand. We're in this thing together. We're in this thing together. Stronger than we ever could dream. We're in this thing together.
Good morning. I want to welcome everyone here to the 2020 annual meeting of Jewish Home Life. Although the word here means different things to different people. You may be at home enjoying your last cup of coffee, you may be walking on your treadmill, or you may be in your car. But wherever you are, thank you so much for being part of our morning. Thank you for joining us to help us honor our leaders, to honor our award winners, and to learn about what Jewish Home Life has for the future. With all that has happened since the last time we were here, there is much to celebrate. As we are all painfully aware, the COVID-19 pandemic brought life as we knew it to a screeching halt and had an immediate impact on Jewish Home Life, the people we serve, and our great team. Every aspect of the organization was affected, from residents, clients, and families to staff and our financial well-being. Through strong leadership and incredible teamwork, this organization very quickly adapted to the new normal and emerged as a leader among its peers in managing the virus and in infection control. As board chair, it's been incredibly inspiring to have watched each day unfold with challenge after challenge. Yet this unshakable team of professionals continues to keep the organization moving forward while still providing the essential care for our residents and peace of mind to the staff. Our army of healthcare providers battle every day to provide the best possible care for our residents and clients while putting aside their own personal fears for health and safety, and while dealing with new regulations almost every day. I want to extend a personal shout out to our incredible staff, from our dietary workers to housekeeping, from caregivers working in our buildings and in people's homes, to our administrative staff and operational leadership. You have established and exhibited the strength, tenacity, and perseverance needed to help us fight this battle day after day after day. Harley, I've always known what a great leader you are, but your leadership through this period of time has been impeccable. Throughout and despite all of these challenges, Jewish Home Life is stronger than ever, fearlessly moving forward in its mission to support the journey of aging through health and daily living solutions guided by Jewish values. Entering the final year of a very successful 3-year strategic plan, Jewish Home Life turned its focus to the future and a new plan. During this past year, professional staff, lay leaders, and volunteers spent hundreds of hours dreaming of the future of Jewish home life and the roadmap to achieve that future. In May 2020, our board of directors approved the second three-year strategic plan that began July 1, 2020, and focuses on 4 pillars. First, people. We want to be the employer of choice in the Atlanta senior care industry. Second, quality and risk. We want to be the highest quality organization by demonstrating that all JHL business lines exceed industry standards. Third, financial and organizational sustainability. We want to ensure financial viability through operations, community support, and board development. And finally, growth. We want to grow the number of people we serve. All of this developed in the midst of an escalating pandemic. Once again, inspiring. When our new fiscal year began in July, the staff hit the ground running to implement the vision of the future. In the last 10 weeks, we have already begun to implement some of these new initiatives, from system-wide collaborations like a shared database for all Jewish HomeLife residents and a newly launched and integrated annual fund campaign with Jewish HomeLife and Weinstein Hospice, to exploring new ideas such as launching a program to advance educational opportunities for our line staff, and expanding our JHL medical services practice. Nothing will stand in our way to making sure we provide exceptional care for all, not even a pandemic. Please join me this morning as we learn more about Jewish HomeLife's accomplishments this past year, honor our outgoing board and incoming new board members, as well as celebrate our award winners. Finally, we will hear from our President and CEO, Harley Tabak, who will share his vision for the future. Again, thank you for joining us. And now I would like to welcome Eric Robbins, President and CEO of Jewish Federation of Greater Atlanta, to the podium to offer greetings.
Good morning, everyone. A highlight of my year is to come in front of you all and share the incredible partnership the Jewish Federation has with Jewish HomeLife communities. And I have to say, we had a great partnership already, and it's only gotten better this year. We entered this crisis together, we worked together, we collaborated together, we admired the incredible work and the resilience you had in handling this pandemic. We helped you in every way that we could. We know the critical care that you were giving so many, and we know that the frontline workers you had that also need to be taken care of. We're especially proud of the partnership we had this year in helping you and helping others deal with this pandemic. Specifically, we were able to give you money so that you could make sure that your professionals, your frontline workers, your heroes, all had the protective equipment that they needed. We were able to give you funding so that you could do the testing you needed for your staff, but also expand that testing for other Jewish organizations in the community that needed it. We were able to give you money so that you could help other organizations get protective equipment for their staff as they were doing their reopening. I also wanted to recognize something personal that is going on in my life that you've been a part of. My brother, who moved to Atlanta around the same time I did in the late 80s, has lived here ever since. In recent years, has had health challenges around cancer and some cardiac issues. And sadly, this summer has had to spend a good bit of time in the hospital. Most recently, 2 weeks in St. Joe's ICU. And when it came time that he was able to leave ICU, he needed a rehab program. Well, sure enough, when they presented those options to us, one of them on the list was the Aviv Rehabilitation Center. I cannot tell you how much that meant to me that he could come here when he needed that care, and how much it felt to me personally that he was coming to a place that would feel like home for him. And I could tell you that that's exactly what happened. Just a few minutes ago, as I walked into the building, he was there in a distance. That was the first time I've seen him in over 5 weeks. He looks amazing. And he looks amazing because you've been taking such good care of him. Just last night, he sent me a text of the menu for dinner, and he circled the brisket and the kugel, and he said, "With food this good, I don't know how I'll go home." I can say thank you for taking care of our community, Thank you for taking care of my brother and my family, and thank you for all that you do for so many. I also want to take the opportunity today, I know you have honoring two incredible members of our community, Steve Merlin and Bruce Benader. So I want to say congratulations to you, and may you all go from strength to strength.
All our residential communities have an amazing core of volunteers who do everything from manicures, personal visits, challah making, and providing entertainment. And with the pandemic, all that has changed. Our activity coordinators and directors have had to really pivot and change the way they engage with residents in order to provide some of those activities in a really new and different way that's safe for everyone.
Things have really changed, obviously, during this time, but I'm going to say that I'm not really complaining about it because it has given me an opportunity I never would have had before when I was leading groups. I've been able to get to know the residents on a completely different level and hear their stories and find interest and develop new hobbies, and I'm actually kind of grateful for it.
At the Cohen home, we use every opportunity available to celebrate. One of our recent celebrations was a resident that turned 100 years old. Another resident turned 99, and we have an upcoming resident for next month that's going to turn 100. We love birthdays and celebrations so much that we even celebrated a 65th wedding anniversary for one of the couples here. We always find a reason to have fun. In fact, we love it here.
Last year we were able to do a brunch where family were invited to join the men, but this year it was still pretty good. We was able to give them certificates of achievement for being fathers and great leaders.
We are writing stories to share with each other. I'm doing individualized things in the rooms and projects.
I'm part of the drama club now. So we've had a couple of meetings. I like Lisa very much, but she does so much more than anybody else has done before.
I do a wine wagon, a snack cart, activity cart. We do candy darts.
The dance party started out of necessity. We needed a morale booster. The first few weeks, residents were dancing from their windows. They were opening the windows and dancing. Some of them were dancing with masks, with their windows closed, but they just wanted to connect. We went around the building, and then we started doing longer and longer dance parties. Now we have a set schedule, and the set people that come and dance, we've been able to engage people at rehab as well. And it's a highlight of the week when we have residents that look forward to it. One of the residents just mentioned to me that she's lived here 12 years and this is the most fun she's had in 12 years. Go figure.
They are truly the unsung heroes of the pandemic and how we've engaged with our residents.
As John Maxwell said, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And that aptly defines our board of directors. Over the years, Jewish HomeLife has grown from a skilled nursing center to 9 at-home care services and residential communities that serve every stage of the aging journey. Our board members have been instrumental in this growth, in partnership with our strong managerial leadership, Harley Tabak at the helm. Thank you to our current board for showing up and putting in the effort. We started the full year with an in-person retreat where we learned communication skills and envisioned what 2019-2020 would look like. Never in our wildest dreams could we imagine what has happened, but everyone rose to the occasion, changing our in-person meetings to Zoom and even carving out time to kibitz and share lunch by Zoom. The leadership staff and the board found alternatives to every potential roadblock, and we are stronger for it. I would like to personally thank our outgoing board members, Lowell Fine, Abby Flom, Ed Levern, and Peppy Friedman, and give a personal thanks to Peppy for all of the time she devoted as 4 years chair of the governance committee, always generous with her time and expertise. Each one of you has left an indelible mark on the organization, and I cannot thank you enough for your time, talent, and energy. I hope that as your term comes to an end, you will remain active in the organization. Best of luck, and thank you. Now I would like to introduce our new board members, Jeff Brown, Randy Korak, Herman Schwarz, and Erwin Siegel. I welcome each of you and look forward to personally working with you on the board of JHL as we continue to grow and flourish. There is no way for me to think about today's Chairs Award winner without my mind going to the past and the present. First, the past. I have known Bruce Benader since elementary school and then had the privilege of being his brother in AZA. Of course, I knew early on neither one of us would be Major League Baseball players, but I did know, and any individual who does know Bruce knows that he's an absolute mensch. After that, life got busy and we went our separate ways. But what an absolute delight to get reunited on the JHL Board of Directors. And now the present. I got to see Bruce address the current pandemic and the PPP loan that in many ways kept the organization on solid footing when the cost of additional staff and personal protective equipment required everyone to be safe and became a critical issue. When it comes to PPP, Bruce Benader is one of the foremost authorities. We are not the first organization to recognize his accomplishments in this new field. Bruce has been involved with Jewish HomeLife for many years and rose to the position of chair of the Finance Committee and treasurer. Our CFO, Neelam Rahadakar, describes Bruce as dedicated, easygoing, and a great partner to work with. She was impressed that at the beginning of his tenure, Bruce took so much time to learn the business so that he would be helpful to her and the board. And as we chart this unknown course, Bruce always thinks of potential risks and how to protect the organization. At the beginning of the pandemic, it was Bruce who leveraged a contact with a new bank to assist Jewish HomeLife in obtaining the PPP loan. Bruce always made himself available during the entire process, and Jewish HomeLife was able to obtain the financial help it needed and that proved to be critical during this unprecedented time. It is truly an honor to present this year's Chairs Award to Bruce Benader.
Thank you very much, Michael. It's funny, Michael and I actually grew up in the same neighborhood around the corner from each other, rode the same school bus in elementary school, and I used to go to his house where we'd play basketball in his driveway, and Michael would typically kick my butt. So I think Michael is making up for that by giving me this award now. We actually started our life in Jewish organizations together, working together in BBYO. We were both in the same AZA chapter. Michael was the first president, and I was the last president. So we've been working together in Jewish organizations for a long time, but little did I know that 40 years later, we'd get the opportunity to work together again. I truly appreciate this award. But this job is really made easier by the incredible staff at Jewish HomeLife. Being able to work with Neelam, Harley, Jeff, and the rest of the team is what really makes a difference. As board members, we come up with ideas and contribute the way we can, but those are the folks that really make it happen. As you know, this has been a very, very challenging time for our organization this year. And these folks have literally risked their lives, worked excessive hours, dealt with a lot of stress, and have done a wonderful job dealing with the challenges. I'm just glad that I was able to, in my own way, using my professional skills and relationships, contribute in some fashion. But I found that it was very rewarding for me, so I'm the one who actually got the benefit. I'd like to thank my wife, Deb, who has allowed me to take away from family time and give back, and also to my partners in my CPA firm who have allowed me to take time from billable activities and management and also contribute. I'm looking forward to continuing to work with our great board and our great staff and try to continue our mission and help the community and make a difference. Thank you so much.
Finally, after almost 50 years of my relationship with Steve Merlin, the facts need to be told. Finally. Indeed, this is a true honor for me to be able to present Steve Merlin with this year's Frank Garson Founders Award. But before we do that, I must set the record straight. Most of you know that the phrase, "be like Mike," is attributable to Michael Jordan, perhaps Chapel Hill's most famous graduate. Well, let me tell you that that moniker is a true misnomer. In fact, it's not true. The real statement was, "be like Steve." Let me give you a little history. Steve is approximately 6 months younger than I am. He grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. I grew up in South Bend, Indiana. My entire life, all that I wanted to do was be like Steve. You see, after graduating high school, I matriculated at Northwestern University once I found out that Steve Merlin had made application to Northwestern. When I found out that Steve did not, in fact, matriculate at Northwestern, and he went to Tulane University, I immediately transferred so that I could be like Steve. Upon arriving at Tulane, I joined a fraternity and immediately sought out the inimitable, the infamous, and the worldly renowned Steve Merlin. You see, all that I ever wanted to do, as I said, was be like Steve. Fast forward, and we both graduated in 1970, and we both graduated magna cum laude, and we were both members of Phi Beta Kappa, but all that I ever wanted to do was be like Steve. Eventually, I located in Atlanta, Georgia, because I learned that Steve had returned to his hometown. Be like Steve even took on greater meaning. You see, when I learned that his law firm had moved into the building that we currently occupy, and they were on the 9th floor, we immediately moved our accounting firm to the 10th floor. I immediately did that so that I could be like Steve. I could go on and on and on, but you get the point. Michael Jordan actually stole the moniker, "be like Mike." It was really, as I said many times, be like Steve. So our neshamas are full today as we honor Steve Merlin for all that he has done for Jewish Home Life, and in particular, the William Bremen Jewish Home. He is past president, and he currently chairs our endowment fund. Over the years, he has been a chair of several committees at the Atlanta Jewish Federation. He has been president of his synagogue, and he has been a mentor and role model to many. Again, be like Steve takes on additional meaning because so many have attempted to follow in his footsteps. I do want to mention and thank those individuals who have been recipients of this award, which I personally established in 1997, but are not here personally to thank Steve today. Of blessed memory, they are Meyer Balser, Bill Bremen, Herb Cohn. They were the first recipients in 1997. Of blessed memory, Gene Cohn, Lottie Sachs, Bernie Pillay, Joy Howard, Lenny Meyer, and Erwin Zabin. Also, all of those of blessed memory. The others are yours truly, Janet Seelig, Jerry Horowitz, Freddie Halpern, Sandy and Bob London, Phyllis and Martin Eisenberg, Marty Pollack, Sally and Phil Kaplan, Jerry Weiner, our own Harley Tabak, Carol and Sid Kirshner, Arlene Taylor, Stanley Friedman, and last year, Billy Greenberg. So I have the extreme pleasure today of presenting the Frank Garson Founders Award to H. Stephen Merlin. Steve, I just hope and pray that you will continue to go from strength to strength, and I will continue to see you every Sunday when you pick up your grandson Sutton at my grandson's house. Folks, the original Be Like Steve Merlin.
Thanks to Steve Berman for that very heartfelt introduction. I appreciate his words very much. Steve and Candy are two of the pillars on which this entire institution has been built. To say that it's an honor to receive the Founders Award today would be an understatement. I recall the work of so many of the past recipients of this award, and to be mentioned in the same breath with them is truly humbling. I would be remiss if I did not thank some of the many people who've gotten me involved and kept me involved with JHL. First, Martin Eisenberg, who recruited me to the board with the express purpose of working on the kosher food issue. Little did I know how much time I would spend on this issue as our organization grew and diversified. To Harley Tabak, who is a transformative CEO who brought an entirely new vision to what JHL could and should be. He has impacted my knowledge of and sensitivity to the problems of aging services organizations everywhere. And to JHL's heart, its management team and its staff, unparalleled, professional and competent, but demonstrating every day a heroic passion for and dedication to our mission, our residents and clients, and our volunteers. Finally, to all the lay leaders of this organization for the time you spend on and the work you do for JHL, and for the inspiration and motivation you have provided to me over the years. You too are JHL heroes. To my wife, Jolynn, who has always enthusiastically supported the time I've devoted to this organization and other charities as well, and to my children, who have validated my efforts by their own involvement in many wonderful and impactful causes. They make me proud every single day. Jewish HomeLife has been part of my life for decades now. I had two grandparents who were here, and my mother was a patient twice in the rehab. These experiences stay with you for a lifetime. I feel that instead of me receiving an award today, I should be presenting JHL an award for all the enrichment it's brought to me personally and for all the good things it brings to our community. Caring for our mothers and fathers, educating the community on senior care, partnering with other agencies, and planning for the huge demand for our services in the future. For all of this, JHL should receive its own Medal of Honor. My dear friend and mentor, Elliot Cohen, always said to me, whatever you give to the community, you will get back double. As a young man, I naively thought he was talking about monetary rewards. But as I've grown older and hopefully wiser, I now more fully understand what he meant. These rewards are much more intangible and much more meaningful. In the case of JHL, I feel I've gotten back way more than double in the personal enrichment I have experienced. It's been my privilege and honor to work for this organization and to represent it in the community. The deep feelings of gratification that this institution creates in those that work and volunteer for it cannot be monetized, but it also cannot be surpassed. For that, I am eternally grateful. Thank you for this award. I sincerely appreciate it more than words can express.
We always liked the outdoors, and I always had a garden at home. And when we came here, we started a garden club because it was an activity that some of the residents could enjoy.
The residents having their hands on this stuff and actually like providing it to us and then knowing that they're eating it, I think that's way more than anyone could do.
Every spring coming to summer, the residents really look forward to the club.
At our meetings, we discussed what we were going to plant. And what happened is that the soil was turned in January and fertilizer was mixed in, including eggshells and coffee grounds that we got from the kitchen. And it was turned again. It was open to the sky and absorbed everything that it needed to make a good crop. The plantings started in March and we've had excellent results.
So a lot of them have been on the farm, you know, a lot of them grew up that way. So like this, and knowing that their food is coming from outside, I mean, you know, it's amazing.
The other residents who are not members of the club, they were like delighted to get fresh vegetables from our garden.
This is a cucumber I bought from Athena Farms, and this is from wherever. But this is from outside. So this is way bigger, it has way more water content in it, and you're gonna get way more nutrients from it than this one. So this one, you can tell got a lot more love.
Gardening has always been fun. People like to get their fingers in the dirt.
But knowing that everyone at that table put something up, it's like unbeatable.
Jewish Home Life was dramatically affected by COVID. Last year, when we adopted our new logo and new tagline, Care for a New Age, we had no idea how true those words would be. I am pleased to report that Jewish Home Life is not only prepared, but is leading the way in the COVID new age to assist our older adult population, their families, and the entire community. What have we learned in 2020 that will help guide us in the future? First, we know better than ever the importance of infection control. Wearing masks, washing hands, keeping socially distant, contact tracing, staying home when you're sick, testing for illness, all these measures make a difference between being infected or not. Even when we hopefully soon have a vaccine, many of these practices should continue. The flu season will soon be here. One of our medical directors told me the other day that everyone wearing a mask will reduce the risk of getting the flu. As with the flu vaccine, it is likely that any COVID vaccine will not ensure immunity. Our future world will be one in which vigilant infection control practices in our facilities and in our private lives will be critical to good health. Next, we learned that employees working in our communities are heroes. Most of us who work or volunteer at Jewish Home Life have always known about the dedication of our team members, but when the COVID pandemic began and personal protective equipment was in short supply, our team members put their own health and safety at risk by coming to work every day to care for our residents. Thanks to their courage, the number of people who have been infected or have died from COVID has been kept to a minimum, especially compared to similar organizations to ours. We must continue to recognize, appreciate, and value the people who work at Jewish Home Life in the future. We also learned how much our community cares for Jewish Home Life. The response to the Jewish Federation of Greater Atlanta's COVID emergency campaign was enormous. Jewish Home Life was one of the largest beneficiaries of this highly successful fundraising initiative. Additional dollars were also given to our organization from individuals who wanted to give directly to us, including a number of people who paid for meals and snacks for our frontline team members. Because of this tremendous financial support and the PPP loan for which Bruce Benader, our treasurer, and Neelam Radhakar, our CFO, worked so diligently to obtain, Jewish Home Life will remain financially stable in the foreseeable future as we slowly return to a new business normal in the coming year. Finally, we learned how much Jewish Home Life can help our community. The invaluable COVID knowledge of our professional staff is now being used to assist schools and other Atlanta Jewish agencies with COVID testing and PPE purchasing. We will continue to be a leading edge resource to our community for as long as we continue to battle COVID. As with most other businesses in the country, COVID is accelerating changes which were already occurring, only now they will happen more rapidly. Helping older adults age in place through the growth of community services is one of these changes and is another priority in Jewish Home Life's new strategic plan. We have seen significant growth, for example, in our Weinstein Hospice and Palliative Care program. Much more of this home-based care will be delivered via telemedicine, so clinicians and patients do not have to travel so frequently. Similarly, a private practice physician who is a geriatrician will use the clinic at Zabin Tower beginning in January 2021 as a satellite office open 1 day per week so residents and our Hal Mill campus do not have to drive to a doctor's office. If successful, this medical office will be open more days of the week and be available to the wider community for those in need of a physician with expertise in geriatrics. One other major development for Jewish Home Life is renovating the Jewish and the Zabin Towers. Becoming part of this organization just 1 year ago, the Jewish Tower has not had a major renovation in over 40 years. This $21 million project is expected to begin next May and will take more than a year to complete. The project will ensure that the only low-income independent living communities in the Atlanta Jewish community will be able to serve another generation of older adults. We will soon begin celebrating the 70th anniversary of the William Bremen Jewish Home, the flagship community that was the genesis of what is now known as Jewish Home Life. Because of your generosity, Jewish Home Life has expanded over the years to meet the growing needs and expanding number of older adults. Today, we are a complete network of at-home care services and residential communities that support every stage of aging. This past year has demonstrated that the need for our services has only increased in importance. With your ongoing support, we will continue to help hundreds of people each year age safely and meaningfully through their aging journey, even when confronted with a worldwide pandemic. L'Shana Tovah, may you and your family be inscribed in the Book of Life.